There are so many options for your first playthrough of Nioh 3. Are you going to focus more on samurai weapons? What about going hard in the paint on ninja? Will you be dabbling with dual swords? Maybe you want to use tonfas. What about your skills? How much ki is too much ki? Well, in this video today, I want to give you my beginner's build guide to help you in setting up your very first build in Nioh 3, or at least help you through your first 30 hours with some general direction. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by uploading the knowledge in my videos. So with that being said, let me tell you that this is not a step-by-step guide of stuff you must do. Instead, it's a breakout of understanding of how to make a build, which is very easy in this game compared to the other two in the series. For the samurai, I recommend choosing axe or spear as they have a lot of reach, great damage, and a very easy skill set to understand. For ninja, I recommend sword or kusarigama, as both give you great mobility coupled with high damage and easy skills to master. From there, you'll want to get 1 or 2 stats that match your weapon choices between the styles to 10. What I mean is between your ninja and your samurai style. You want to get those stats to 10 ASAP. After that, get the rest of the stats to 10. This is the first breakpoint in which you start to get different bonuses per point invested. This is something I recommend for new players only, so that you understand how the stats interact with you in the game. When it comes to skills, try and choose the ones that coincide with the stance you enjoy using the most. I've built this video recommending to stay in mid stance, but if you like high or low more, then just go for it. The most important thing to understand though is that this is just a baseline to establish your knowledge and understanding of everything. Once you've done that, feel free to respec the skills away from mid stance or move your stats off of 10 points. I'll have more in-depth build videos coming that are more set in stone, but the aim here is to get you playing with a lot of systems so you can pick and choose which things from this video you want to apply to your play style. As I always say, please play the game how you want, not how the internet tells you to. But that's too long to watch this entire video. If that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to just go ahead and shut the video down. I want to be respectful of your time. If you are heading out and you found the video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those things helps me out in a huge way. You can navigate ahead to any part of this video that interests you the most using the chapters of the timeline in the description. And if you haven't picked up the game yet, I do have a Fanatical link in the description where you get a discount and I get a 7% commission, which goes towards my Mini Aussie's Unending Toy Fund. You can find a link to my Twitch below where I'll be doing giveaways of Nioh 3. But let's get started here on the ultimate beginner build for Nioh 3. Loading into the game, let's take a look at our weapons. Just select weapons that are going to make sense. Now, like I said before, this is not, hey, choose these things, these are the best things, and only these things. We're going to look at what is probably best for beginners. Now, there's a lot of weapons to choose from, but if we're talking about the samurai and we're talking about the ninja, I'm going to give you 2 recommendations each. If you're brand new to the game, going with the axe is so strong because it has very minimal investment as far as you could put 0 skills into this thing and it'd be strong from the beginning to the end of the game. All you got to do is press X, X, Y. That's it. It's a really strong combo. Of course, you want to have more capabilities in there, and you'll get them through the axe, which has a good amount of damage to ki ratio, meaning for the amount of ki that you spend, you get quite a bit of damage. I would say quite a lot, actually. And this results in a weapon that has really good punching power, and it is a bit slower though. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you like a faster paced game, the axe will feel alien to you. And I actually did not like it at first. My good buddy Fervor Gaming, who we're going to be making a axe build together, he recommended axe. And then I was like, I don't know, man. Then I tried it. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty goddamn awesome. So definitely give the axe a whirl. Then the other one, though, is spear. And spear has been a staple of the Nioh series for a long time, as has axe. But spear has always been a very good one for beginners because it has a lot of mobility. Just this, which you can see right here, if you just hold down Y, this is a really good capability. And it just simply lunges forward and does damage. It has a good amount of mobility. It has a good amount of reach because you can have cleaves that work around you. It has a lot of stance mobility, meaning you move from low, mid to high stance to get a lot of different functionality out of the spear, to get really big hits, to get faster hits, to get more mobile hits. It's one of the most versatile weapons in the game. So I definitely recommend this as maybe a little bit more of an advanced choice over the axe, but one that's going to teach you a lot of really good habits. And I think that's important here. The axe, you can stay in mid stance the entire game and be fine. The spear, you really want to learn how to flux around to this thing to different stances to get the most out of it. And when you do, it's going to carry over to every single weapon you use. So those two are my samurai recommendations. And if you're playing a ninja, go with the ninja sword. That's like my prime recommendation. It has very fast attacks. It has a lot of vertical attacks, and it has a lot of attacks that have good reach and good parries built into them. So you can have a lot of fun taking advantage of the extreme mobility of ninja without feeling like you're bogged down by learning a ton of mechanics from a lot of weapons. And, you know, if just to give another one here, I really like the Kusarigama to start off because you could just hold Y and do a ton of damage. It does have a little bit more demand to it to learn more functionality, but in the early portions of the game, this is a really easy one to just kind of get your brain around to do a lot of really quick damage until you understand how to dodge, evade, and use the shadow clone better for ninja. It's worth noting though, the samurai sword is also just as good as the ninja sword for learning basics, but I wanted to give you something that was a little bit different. So you've got those things down for your weapons as far as the two recommendations that I would have for you. So now that we've talked about choosing your weapon, let's talk about how we can leverage our stats and weapon scaling to magnify the damage of that weapon. This helps out for those beginners that are not really familiar with this system. So we've looked at ninja sword and Kusarigama, and we've looked at axe and spear, right? So we're going to come back over here to the equipment screen, and we're going to take a look over here at the samurai weapons, and we'll go to a spear. So a spear has the reference stats right here of constitution, heart, and skill. What do those mean? So reference stats are the weapon scaling. The stat with the highest value will affect it greatly, meaning it'll scale the damage the most. The next highest will affect it slightly, and the lowest will affect minimal. So you don't really need to worry about the other two stats as long as you've chosen one to focus on. So constitution is shared with the axe, which is constitution, strength, and stamina. Let's go ahead and switch over to the ninja. So if we look at the ninja and we take a look at just the Uchigatana, which is the ninja sword, that is going to be skill, strength, and intellect versus the Kusarigama, which is skill, magic, and constitution. So you can see that there is an overlap with either the existing weapons within the style or the weapons that are going to be cross style. You can see this a little bit easier if you go to a shrine and you go to the level up screen. You'll see here, okay, constitution, right? Well, that's my axe, that's my spear, and that is my Kusarigama. It's right here, it's got them filled in. If it's got a box around it, it means I currently have it equipped. But heart, okay, that's my just my spear. Stamina, that's just my axe. Strength is my axe and my sword. Skill is my what is this thing called? A spear, Kusarigama, and my sword. Intellect is just my sword. Now, if things don't overlap, like let's say this, for example, that's okay. You only need to choose two stats, right? You're going to choose a stat for your samurai weapon and a stat for your ninja weapon. Hopefully they overlap. If they don't, it's not a big deal because you can hopefully get some sort of scaling with them. And all these skills or these stats are going to help you out anyway. So just don't worry about it. But what I would tell you then is I'm going to go ahead and press the reset button because that's important. You can just simply press the left thumbstick down to reset these stats at any time. You're going to want to, let's assume we're going to go with axe. Do I want axe? You know what? We'll assume we're going to go axe. Yeah, I like axe. We're going to go axe. What I would tell you is choose the weapon that you are going to use and then focus on getting that stat to 10 as fast as you can. This is going to dictate the flow of your damage. You want that up there quickly. And then after that, for your stats, invest them into constitution, getting it to 10, because that's going to give you the most health per point of any of these. That is going to be crucial. You'll want to get heart up to 10 pretty quickly because that is the amount of ki and your ki recovery speed. And then your magic, actually you'd like to get to 10 or at least 8 so that you can open up additional Omnio boxes to put additional soul cores into the yin position. That gives you summons, that gives you talismans. It's very crucial. And then fill in strength and skill and whatever to 10 as you can until you have everything at 10. And then after that, just start investing heavily into the ones that are going to give you the most damage, whatever it is that's going to kind of coincide with the stat scaling you want. A lot of people do not recommend this. I recommend this if you are brand new to the game, because 10 is the first break point. After 10, all of your per point investment changes. It either goes down or goes up depending on what it is. So for an example here, strength below 9 and after 10 gives you a different value amount in different fields. So just make sure you kind of jump into 10 first. And then once you have a better understanding of the game, respec, you know what? That guy was full of shit. I'm not using skill at all. Then drop it down. Don't worry about it if you don't need it. You can basically use these as you need them rather than saying, hey, I'm locked into 10 of all skills. Ignore what the internet's going to tell you. It's going to tell you to hyper focus on one thing or another. If you're brand new, enjoy the game first and then hyper focus, because the whole point of a Nioh is to Nioh being not the guy from the Matrix, it is to be really good at New Game Plus. And to get really good at New Game Plus, you have to understand the basics. And you can't understand the basics if you don't even understand how they actually affect your play style. So work around that and build something that makes sense for you first before jumping too crazy into one direction. And then once you've established a working knowledge of these stats, respec them for free at any point at a shrine and get them to a point that makes sense for how you're building out the character. Jumping back to this screen, let's talk about the builds, skills, and arts. So skills are really what sets a weapon apart. All these weapons operate roughly at the same level without any skills in them, meaning to say that they're not good. Well, the axe is pretty good without any skills in it, and so is kind of like the ninja sword. But still, my point remains here is more skills allows weapons to come alive, especially talons and cestises, anything like that. So if that's the point, let's take a look at investing points in just the axe. So what I want you to see is, before we even get further, is that the game gives you context clues as to what each one of these symbols mean. This, for example, is a mystic art. It's got that little symbol in there, and it's got that border around the little bubble. This over here is a transformed art. It's got a bronze bracket around it, and it is a transformed art. And see, here's a mystic art here as well. Anything with a silver bracket is your standard common situation. Now, the symbol in the center is also going to denote what stance it is. So this, see how this has all three of these lit up? This is going to be used for all stances. This is only mid stance because only the middle one is lit up. This one over here is going to be for high and mid only. As you can see, the bottom one is not lit up. And let's see if there's one here. These ones are all going to be for everything. There's no, okay, well, this is mid and low only. So, oh, here's a low only right there. So this is important to know because now you have an idea of, you know what, I'm just going to stay in mid. And mid is a good place to stay with the axe until you learn the game. So what I want you to do here is, rather than saying, hey, these skills are really good, take a look at the skills, see how they kind of fit into your play style. And we're going to choose a couple. And I'm deliberately choosing these three, and I'll tell you why in a second. We're going to choose, yeah, that'll do pig. This is a transform art that I've got. Perfect, good. And I've got plenty of samurai points, so I'm just going to invest them. Yeah, after a strong attack, perfect. And we'll do this too. So I've invested quite a few points into this, and I didn't really look too much into what they do. But what I want you to see is this roar, this spirit wind, and this spirit storm. They all use left bumper plus X. That is an important thing to know, because once you've selected skills, you need to equip sometimes. Sometimes it'll say like Y after an attack. Cool, you select this, it buys it, it's equipped, you're good. It just unlocks the functionality. But this one, for example, is X after a strong attack. And so is this. So we'll take this one too. So let's now go over to this screen, the little slash with a shuriken, customized martial arts and ninjutsu. We have to switch over to our axe, and anything with an exclamation point on it is a brand new skill you've unlocked. And sometimes it'll also have these additional skills that we've also unlocked. So you have to choose which ones you're going to be putting in to make sense. Now, you can shoot those little like targets that float around that have a ferret on them. They give you transformed arts. That's these right here, which usually apply an element or some sort of additional effect to any of the current skills. You have to then buy them in the screen we just saw. So we bought Mad Spinner. we bought Rampage. They both trigger off the same mechanic. And we have the transformed art of these two, which has different text at the end of it to denote that it's going to give us that additional benefit. Just know that the red text there is the negative side of using it. Longer windup before use or increased key consumption. So for Mad Spinner, I'm just going to choose Rampage, whatever. Titanic Strength, remember that was that one with X after a strong attack? We can choose between that and Bear's Bane. Sends the axe into the ground, doing a shockwave, creates nearby damage. And sometimes you'll get these things that have a little skull next to them. Those are from crucibles. You'll do a crucible, you'll get a crucible weapon, and you fill the familiarity bar of the weapon, and it gives you these. I don't know all the crucible skills to recommend them for these videos, so I can't really be 100% transparent with that. But I will tell you, Heaven and Earth is the single strongest capability for this. So anything that can benefit Heaven and Earth is going to be hugely advantageous to using, say, the axe. And you just kind of want to go through these and get a sense for the weapon and what makes the most sense for you. Like I'm trying to say, stay in mid or low stance, right? Heaven and Earth is in mid and low. So you can have a lot of fun with this no matter what. And if let's swap back over to an axe real quick. Oh, cool. We've got one on. So that bear thing, right? So we go this. It's that right there. And Heaven and Earth is this one. Oops, that's two swings, my bad. 1, 2, and then this. That's Heaven and Earth. It's super easy and it does a lot of damage. So make sure you're equipping these skills that you select, because sometimes you'll get it and like, dude, I tried the combo and it didn't work, or I did a different one than I wanted. It's because you haven't selected it through here. And making sure that you apply these is going to be pretty crucial. Now, like I said before too, you can respec skills. So we come back to this screen, we press the same button to respec stats, which is left thumbstick or 3. All samurai style categories, which is the every single samurai weapon and the general skills, or just what we have displayed here. I'm going to press only currently displayed. So that brings back the 10 points that we invested. It pulls them out of this tree. So just kind of know these things. We took a look at a lot of context clues for the blips, but if you see anything with clouds on it, it's also something that will put your character vertical. It'll put them up in the sky. So just know that exists. Or if you're looking at ninja skills, this little thing means a shadow art. This little thing means common. This little thing means ninja tool art. And this little thing means physical arts. So just know that those exist. Close out this little section here, though, I will tell you, just make sure you maximize the samurai skills, because there's not a lot of them to maximize, and it's just super important to get almost all of them. I haven't done these two, but now I'm gonna right now. There you go, because I switched my control scheme to take advantage of them a little bit more, but it's pretty crucial to do this because it just gives you all these capabilities. And if you're unsure of which weapon to use, just go with the generic ninja skills until you get a baseline. It'll really, really help you out in kind of getting all this together. And like I said, the last thing though is about just to show you the crucible weapons for continuity's sake. There we go. So this Palisade Breaker here, if you see that little skull on it, you'll see at the very bottom, Crucible Arts. That's going to give you Tornado's Edge, where I hold it and do this. So I don't know all of these abilities to recommend them to you, but definitely make sure if you're using a weapon type, just spend the time, build the familiarity with it, and pull off that Crucible Art, because you then get it for free. As long as you built the familiarity, it doesn't cost you a point, you've got it. So just make sure you're doing all of those. The last subject I want to talk about in this video is armor. And armor is a very dense subject in this game. So don't worry about it, is what I'm going to tell you. If you're going to stick with my recommendation of staying with stuff that says mid attack, just look for things that give you bonuses to mid attack, or key recovery speed, or just key as a whole, or they give you life as a whole. Don't worry too much about the special effects. In the beginning of the game, you're swapping through armor so quickly. I would say just stack toughness the most. Toughness is your resistance to key damage, and having high toughness means you also won't be staggered. So try to stack that as much as you can. Also, make sure your equipment weight at the top here is either blue or green. If you go over 70% right here, if this is 69.9, then you're green. If you go to 70, it turns into it's like a yellowish it's like a yellowish orange. It's a really weird thing. But that red, or that high agility, C tier agility, will not be good. It'll drain your ki. It'll make you go slower. It'll be frustrating if you're brand new to the game. You want to worry about these special effects once you've built up more knowledge of the game and you're at a point where you're not constantly swapping items, because then you can use the special effects towards the things that make sense for how you play. Hey, I'm going with a really strong lightning build-up build, so I want to have as much special effects on here that do lightning related things, and that's on my weapon. Don't worry about it in the beginning. There's so much shit coming your way. Just make sure the base defense, the toughness is going up, and maybe some special effects that play into what I said, like mid attacks, key recovery, key pulse, yokai realm stuff, life increase, things that make your life as a new player easy. Don't get bogged down with this bullshit. There's a ton of stuff here. You'll get to it when you get to it. And at worst comes to worst, press the auto equip button. It's 4 on PC. It's right thumbstick down and just press this. Agility B or above. Cool. There you go. It's all set. This will make sure that you always have just below 70% and you have the best, whatever it is, equipped. So don't get too lost in the weeds on this. Just have fun by selecting new items and play around too. You know what? You can see here, this is heavy, this is light, this is medium, this is heavy, this is heavy. So play around with that. Play around with these. This little symbol right here denotes its weight, the little dumb waiters. That's heavy. This is light. So you can see that once those fill up. And same thing here with Ninja, do the same thing. Auto equip does work as well with your weapon. So if I select, let's go all the way down here, this hammer, it's a pretty low level hammer, right? And I do auto equip again, agility above, it'll select the best hammer you have. So whatever weapon you put in here, it'll always select the best version of that weapon. So use auto equip to circumvent a lot of the headache of early inventory management. And I would tell you only do that every time you visit a shrine. That way you're not, oh, I picked something up, let me jump to my inventory. Don't bog yourself down with all that crap. You're brand new to this game. It's gonna be overwhelming. So take your time. Look at the things that make the most sense to you as someone who's a video game player and understands, oh, melee damage, got it, cool. If you don't understand it, click it on PC or press the select button to go to it and you say, cool, melee damage critical. Oh, this isn't critical damage, like I do more crit damage. It's that, hey, I do more damage when my health is low. So when you're first starting out and you don't understand how the game explains some of these special effects, just go to this and learn it. It's the easiest way to kind of get a good brain for all the crap in this game. And there's so much crap, right? Like charges the Amrita gauge when you inflict this special status ailment on an enemy. That ailment is electrified. I don't do any electrified damage right now, so this is completely useless to me. When I get further into the game, this will be more useful because you're tapping into those ailments and stuff like that easier. So don't get lost in special effects, have fun, and enjoy that process. So at that, it brings our video here to a close. We covered so much stuff, right? I didn't want to just give you, hey, use this cookie cutter build, because then everyone uses the build that I used to play the early game, and that's not necessarily fun. I want you to have the freedom to explore this game because that is the most important thing about this game, is exploring it. It's getting to know all the different weapon types. If you're one of those people who loves learning things the hardest way possible, and that's me, I love jumping into the deepest deep end for video games. Play with the dual sword or the switch glaive. You're going to really have to learn stance switching very fast. You're going to have to learn flux quickly. You're going to have to manage your ki a lot more. If that's what you want, then go ahead and do it. Ignore everything in this video about what I said about weapons, but hopefully there's something in this video that gives you a sense of how to make your build in a way that makes the most sense, rather than just looking at the internet, carbon copying what someone else said, and then just kind of playing their game, which doesn't end up teaching you the mechanics that you need to know to be successful in the late game of Nioh. You can't really kind of apply one thing to the early game, or I'm sorry, into a new game plus until you really understand it, or else you're just kind of going to get, you'll get hurt pretty fast in the late game if you just kind of use some sort of generic approach to it. But if you have any recommendation and you are a Nioh veteran, you say, hey, you know what? You didn't cover this subject, and I think it's so important for Nioh newbies to know, go ahead and let it be known in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.